This video is going to go over how to find things on our Canvas page. So when you come to our Canvas page, and I'm on the internet browser version of the Canvas page, not the app. When you come to the Canvas page, the main thing that you're going to get put into is something that looks like this. At the top of the page is going to give the 3 most recent announcements that have been sent out. Depending on your settings, you may have also received either a text message or an email about these. If not, these are the 3 most recent ones. All communication, except for things that are personal to you, are typically given through announcements. That way you can go back and find something if you're looking for it. If you ever want to see an old announcement that you've already read, just click on announcements over here to the side and it'll have the complete list of all the announcements that have already gone out. Okay. Now, below announcements is where you have each of the modules of all of the information. Typically, these are expanded by default. You can totally click the button that says collapse all, and then you can just make it essentially what looks like a table of contents. Okay. How these are organized is the very first module is a list of all of the quick links to get to all the main things that you'd need to know in the course. So this one here specifically gets you to the information about Zoom in our online meetings. So this gives you the stable that works for the entire semester meeting information about Zoom. It also tells you some information about how to log into Zoom to make sure you can access the information and various things that you should see, etc., and troubleshooting if you have any issues. Okay. Now, other things, this one here talks about office hours and how to contact me. At the top of the page is specifically the office hours. Here is meeting up with classmates, math department tutoring. Our class is one of the key classes that they really excel at. So if you need extra help and you don't want to contact me or talk with your classmates, this is definitely a great place to go. Our class is one of the very few math classes that also is tied in with the PAL program, and they are essentially like extra tutors for our content. And then there's more support services down here as well, listed on that same page. The next couple pages are summary pages. So quizzes and activities. This deals with all the different types of quizzes or activities and surveys that we would have in the course. And I try to categorize them of what type of things that we would see. So in-class activities, and these I would give you during class. I linked up what they were, where the assignments were, so you can find them later, especially if you miss a class. And I'll also post the solution keys after the assignments are due, so you can go back and look over those questions later on. For our course, we have before class readings to complete. Here's a list of those readings as well as the dates on them. The most up-to-date due dates for these guys will be once you get into the actual assignment. So if you click on, say, this link right here, it'll actually tell you when it's due. It'll then tell you that when it's available by. The available by date right here tells you that if you miss the due date and you still want to turn it in late, you can turn it in late until this date right here. Now, this readings is in our online textbook, and this link will take you directly to that online textbook. Note, an interesting quirk about Zybooks is you can actually access Zybooks in multiple ways, not just through the assignments. But if you access Zybooks not through this assignment link, your grade for this particular assignment won't get pushed back to Canvas until you actually come in and click on this link. Okay. Now, you can complete this assignment completely in Zybooks before clicking on the link, and then just go back, click on the link, and at that point your scores will get pushed back into Canvas. So if you ever have an issue where you don't see your scores in Canvas, go in and click on this link through Canvas, and that'll initialize the assignment. And then these are some surveys. Our surveys that are proper surveys, so anything that says a reflection or something like a survey in the name, these guys are going to be graded just on completion. You do it, and then you get 100% on it. The more you're accurate, the more you take them seriously, the more they'll help you. But they also give me data on improving the course as well. Okay. So that was quizzes. Homework. Homework is a summary of all of the homework sets that are due. The first part tells you formatting guidelines as well as various links and information that you might need to know. And then here is a chart of all of the homework sets that you have and links specifically to those assignments. Anytime we have an assignment that is not an online homework assignment where it's computer graded, at some point a solutions key will be available, and I'll go ahead and put the solutions key over here. Note when the assignment closes, you can't actually go see the assignment anymore, which is one of the reasons you have this chart, so I can actually post solutions keys. As a heads up, in terms of web work down here, the solutions keys will become available after the set closes. It's one of the reasons and let me go ahead and just click on one of these to show you guys. If you click on a web work assignment, it never has in Canvas a thing over here that says available until. It just has a due date. If you actually once you go in, click the button and go into the web work site itself, it will have a close by date, and at that point, that's the last date when I'll accept a web work set as late. And after that date, then you go into web work. You can still work on it. Your answers just won't be recorded, and you have now the solutions available. Some of the web works questions will have full solutions available. There'll be a button at the bottom of the problem. Let me actually see if I can access this in student mode. Yeah, I can't access that one in student mode, so let me change this. You click on a problem, and you look right here. This is not available. You guys won't see this while the assignment is still before its due date, or really before its late due date. But once the solutions become available, you'll actually see this right here, and what will happen when you click the button, it'll drop down and show you exactly how to solve this problem. Now, not all of the web work questions have that, so if they don't have that, you can click this button that says show correct answers. Again, not available until after this set closes for grading. And then you can say submit answers, and it will actually show you. If you say submit answers where it says incorrect, if you have the button clicked that says correct answers, you'll actually get an extra column over here, and it'll tell you what the correct answer was. Okay. I have not figured out yet how to set that up with zyBooks, so you don't have that yet with zyBooks. Test is a summary of all the tests that are upcoming. zyBook links takes you specifically to our textbook. Our class videos, I'll record and put them on an unlisted YouTube playlist, so this takes you directly to that playlist. And this one down here, whatever group or team that you've been assigned in for the entire semester, this takes you to a discussion board that connects you directly with them. So if you want to contact your teammates outside of class, you can do that, assuming they respond to you. Now, for our course, the next module down, this is where all of the main information is housed. Each chapter has its own page, and also I'll update these dates out front to say when we actually covered each topic. So I'll pick on chapter 2 here just because that's where my mouse was. So this one here, it's got the same page name. It gives you some quick links again in terms of things that you might want to access. And then each date here has its own little, if you will, paragraph. Okay, so it tells you which date we're talking about. It tells you which section we covered. Before we get to this date, it'll have the word tentatively here, just because what we exactly cover will depend how quickly or slowly we go through the material the previous days. Okay, so on this date, we ended up covering these two sections. So before class, there'll be some information. This one is just going to be up there every day just to make sure that you're comfortable logging in to Poll Everywhere in case anything happened. This one is specifically which pre-class activity you want to look at or reading in the textbook that you want to look at, and it'll link you directly to that assignment. And here it talks about what we're expecting to go over during class, and it looks like I forgot punctuation there. Oh In terms of assignments associated with this guy, there's always some sort of activity and homework. So I just linked to the activity and homework page here to keep those up to date. In terms of this guy, it looks like we didn't have an in-class activity because I go ahead and post it right here as well. After class, I'll update this stuff that says resources from class with specifically the notes that we took during class or the notes that I physically wrote on. I'll just put them into a PDF and post them, and also the video, assuming there wasn't any malfunction or issue with that recording. And then this will happen for each of the different days. So notice this one here, this one actually had an activity, and that links to the activity. I wanted to show you one of them. If there's any additional resources for the class, so for example, this one where I made some additional resources for the class, notice here we actually covered these two topics over 2 days. So I went ahead and posted both days' notes, both days' videos, and then for the additional resources, they're right down here as well. If I ever create additional resources for class, you'll have the videos, these 3 here are the videos, and there'll also be whatever notes that I took during those videos. I'll post both of them for you guys. So that takes care of, this is the main stuff that you would be dealing with. And let me jump back to student view so you can see what you guys would see. Now, the next thing that I have for our course is then after the daily stuff that we look at all the time, we'll also have something that deals with each test. So for example, with test 1, you see a lot of different stuff in here. The first page is specifically all of the information you need to know about the test. So it'll tell you at the top stuff that you need to know in terms of dealing with accessing the test online. Here it gives you buttons to the actual test assignments that you'll need the day of the test. It also tells you things like directions that you need to worry about in terms of being prepared for the test as well. Each test I plan to have both a study guide, review session, and practice test. So I'll link here the study guide. I'll also link if there's any extra resources. For example, in this one, we had some additional sample questions. So I went ahead and posted the solution key for those guys. I don't always post solution keys for additional questions, but if we have them, I'll make sure to actually give you what those additional questions are. And then the video from our review session. For the practice test, here's a link for the practice test itself. Regardless of how the original practice test is implemented, typically for the first test we'll have it during class. After class, or for all the later tests, you'll have unlimited attempts to go back and practice to use it as a study guide. So definitely feel free to go back in here and really go over it. That way you know for sure the different types of formatting of questions that you could see. Now, I don't guarantee to have this practice test to be just another version of the test you would see. The goal here is to create questions that would be of a similar format of the types of questions that you would see, not necessarily the different topics that you would see. And again, it gives you some extra information that you might want to know there. And then this one here actually ballooned out with some of those same links that were in this one page, so you can quickly grab them. And then at the bottom is the actual assignments for the tests themselves. This next module deals with the syllabus and various things attached with the syllabus. So this one just gives you an introduction of what is this thing called modern algebra, some time commitments in terms of what you should expect the workload to be, technology requirements. So this is just saying, hey, in order to get through everything in our online course, what are some expectations of what sort of things you would need, how to access our class through Zoom, how to access Poll Everywhere, how to access Ziteboard, how to deal with Zybooks. This just gives some strategies. Actually, let me go ahead and open this one up. This one just gives some strategies in terms of what to watch out for, and also if you realize, oh wait, oh no, what I've been doing isn't working, it recommends don't just struggle by yourself, reach out for help. Then it also has links, office hours we looked at before, and also some general resources and other specific resources. The actual syllabus itself is in here, or, well, in terms of how I put the syllabus online, I did two things. Did the actual PDF version of the syllabus, and then down here is where I essentially copied and pasted the PDF version of the syllabus, except I inserted the links of where you can find the different things actually inside the Canvas page as well. This isn't an exact copy and paste of what the PDF version of the syllabus is. Notice all these extra links. Some of it is actually expanded out, and some of it is just created with links. Um, and these are some of those expanded out sections of expectations, and then these are just some extra links that are general to the university. And then down here is the initial surveys and quizzes to make sure that you're up to speed in terms of you found the things that you needed to find. Okay. Other things that I wanted to make sure to mention is over here in the menu. If you click on this first button that says Zoom, this actually takes you to all of the meetings, all of our class meetings for the rest of the semester. You can actually just click on join if you want to. Or we talked about a meeting and password back at the, just a second, let me pull it back up, back right here as well. So multiple ways to get into the class meeting. The other thing I wanted to give a shout out to is we talked about announcements already in all of them, but is this button right here that says Syllabus. If you click on that button for Syllabus, you'll actually come here. And what it does is first it gives you a link to the actual syllabus. And if you're in an app, there's two tabs. This part would be the first tab. And the second tab would be down here, Course Summary. This actually is similar to your calendar over in Canvas, and it tells you when different things are due. Okay, so here, if you look, these different symbols actually tell you what type of thing is due. So let me find one that has a bunch of different symbols. I'm not finding the first quiz. Oh well, I didn't find it. So this symbol right here that looks like a little baby calendar, that's actually the class time, the class meeting. This little guy right here that looks like a sort of a piece of paper with a pencil. This is an assignment where you would either upload something or it's one of the online homeworks where you have a button that clicks and you go to a different location. Okay. In terms of, just a second, I think I hit it already with test one. It looks like I did. The other thing that you see every so often is I'll put a page inside of Canvas that says to do, just to look at it. If you get something on the to do list, the symbol over here is different. It actually looks like an individual little piece of paper. There's no little pencil mark there whatsoever. And I'm not finding the syllabus quiz right now, but if we found the syllabus quiz, it would actually have another little symbol that looks like a little space shuttle, and that says that, hey, this is a Canvas quiz, that you're actually entering your answers inside of Canvas, and Canvas will grade it either all of it or most of it. Okay, but this is something to keep up to date with the assignments, especially as we progress through the class. Things like homework and quizzes, I'll move them to match the content that we're covering each day in class. So if you look at, say, like the original PDF version of the syllabus, and if it says, hey, we expect to cover blank section on blank day, that may or may not be true depending on how quickly or slowly we're progressing through the material. So this gets you the up-to-date versions of specifically when everything is due. And if you ever notice anything that is due before we've covered it, definitely feel free to reach out and contact me, because that is never the intent. That is, except for pre-class readings, that is never the intention to have something due on a topic that we haven't covered yet. Okay, but that is the crash course in terms of how to find things on Canvas, as well as a little bit of extra commentary.